Hello everyone, my name is NeverMiss00, also known as FreeTech on Twitch, as you may know me also. And welcome to the first round of Season 5 in the Invictus Gnosis League. And today by my side we of course have Captain Stiff.
Good evening everyone, welcome to Mexico, the first race of the Invictus No Assist League. We're back here with a big field this season. Hopefully we'll be getting a group of almost 18, well, up to 18 drivers, so a big field for the new season to go around the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City. This season sees our reigning champion Speed Queen attempt to retain her title as the fastest on the circuit over a course of 12 races. The season sees, well, hopefully 18 drivers into the lobby with some established stars such as Speed Queen and Malk, which is WWFC, and Sarge, but we also see some newcomers into the series such as Schmicky Mickey and Scott City to add some extra unpredictability to the racing. If you're new to the series and you've managed to catch this on Never Miss's Twitch stream, then we'll quickly explain the league to you. So this is Invictus Racing League. I am Gareth, otherwise known as Captain Stiff, and I'm in the commentary box with Never Miss. We'll be watching this race around the Mexican Grand Prix run at a 50% distance with no driver assist allowed. The drivers are required to make one mandatory pit stop and use 2 of the 3 allotted tyres for the race weekend, unless that is there is a wet race when that rule then becomes void. The grid will be decided by a 12-minute qualifying session and Parc Fermé will be on, so setup decisions here are crucial for the race. There's also strict corner cuttings on at all times, so the guys need to make sure they keep at least 2 tyres inside the white lines on either side of the track. Top 10 will have a chance to start on the tyres they set their quickest lap time in qualifying, but the rest will have the opportunity to adapt their strategy. But please feel free, if you're new to watching this, or if you've just found us, to check out our website at invictusracingleague.com and follow us on all of our socials at InvictusRL on Twitter and Facebook. We also encourage you to interact with us on the Twitch stream across all of our races, and we'd love to hear your thoughts and predictions. Brilliant. So, Never Miss, what do you think of the first race? What do we think we've got in store tonight?
I think in my head, because I remember seeing last season in Abu Dhabi, commenting in that Chilniliad got pole, which was an amazing start for him, and I think he'll do very well this season. Another person in my head is also Betrayer, one of the new ones this season. He also did very well in the Prix season. I think he got up podium, I think, in Russia, if I'm correct. I'm not 100% sure.
He did, I believe, second place in the Russian Grand Prix season.
Also has hopes to maybe gain a world championship, and also we have returning ones. Speed Queen, of course, last season's back-to-back world champion, of course, as I wasn't around from season 3, but as I heard, she was that season's champion. But there's only one question on everyone's lips at the moment: will she regain this season's title, and will she keep it all to herself, or will Chilniliad, Betrayer, or all the other drivers may get the chance to win?
And that's true. We've had the guys have had 2 pre-season races already in Australia and Russia, so 2 very drastically different circuits with different kinds of setups. So the guys have really had the opportunity to brush the cobwebs off and get themselves back into the groove of racing. In their first race in Russia, we actually saw Chilniliad take pole and the win convincingly from Nikki. So really a statement of intent there. And last week, Nikki managed to battle back and take the win himself as well. So Nikki really in with a chance of pushing himself further up the grid this season.
My thoughts too. Also, I have a peek at the calendar as well. Not just Mexico could be a great track for everyone. Also, I am thinking about Japan and Singapore. I think Singapore's on the calendar as well. Must be amazing to see, especially in a street circuit, of course, in Singapore. I mean, that might be intense for everyone as well, through going through tight spaces and corners.
Yeah, the guys will definitely be tested around Singapore. Obviously, tight street circuit, and the weather's very unpredictable around there with very changeable conditions. So you can easily see yourself qualifying in the dry and then having to start on the wet. So yeah, we'll definitely look forward to Singapore as one of the Grand Prix coming up.
So, as we are waiting now, we are waiting for, I think, 5 more drivers. I think we're going to start up in about 5 or 10 minutes. So, as that break is happening, I look back in Russia. I was there. I wasn't in Australia due to personal reasons, but Russia, I think that was a great preseason. Great to see the new drivers, and also, could there be a chance to any of these drivers to get a win, maybe?
Well, it's definitely on the cards, and we've seen that the standard this season is ramped up from the end of last season. Of course, the end of last season we saw Speed Queen essentially dominate the league from start to finish, and only towards the end we saw Gamer de Best, who unfortunately won't be with us tonight. But Gamer de Best actually took two wins out of the last 3 races, so he definitely put himself up in the conversation for who was going to be challenging at the front this season. We've got some fast guys out there that have got real opportunity of really setting down an early benchmark in the championship.
Another thing to say, there are a few people, as you can see in the latency, who are on yellow and red. Do you think that this could affect the race, or do you think it might progress over time?
You'd like to think that it's hopefully it's going to improve. The guys, of course, go through quite a lot of checks with their internet capacity and their speed and keeping lag to a minimum. So usually you see pretty consistent lag out of Mammoth, or pretty decent lack of lag out of people like Mammoth Fisher.
It seems that everyone is about to start up. It seems that all 11 drivers are going to be readying up, and we're going to head over to the first round. It looks like the other drivers aren't joining. So without further ado, let's head over to Mexico.
Of course, Mexico, or the Mexican Grand Prix, situated in the heart of Mexico City, which the track actually hosted Grand Prix from 1986 to 1992, and then returned to the calendar in 2014 with a 4.3 kilometer track with 17 turns. The start-finish line is almost a kilometre run down to T1, so immediately off the grid these guys are going to get a good opportunity to get into the toe of the guys in front of them and really battle into the first corner, so there's an immediate sense of slipstream as soon as you start. The problem around here is we are just under 2200 metres above sea level, so the problem with that is the density of the air means it really disrupts the cooling and the or the way the air flows over the car, the aerodynamics. So the guys will find it really tricky to follow each other. So through a lot of, especially the S's, the fast left-right S section in Sector 2. So it's definitely a challenge for them to kind of overcome early in the race.
And I had to skip the intro there, of course, because I had to get a bit of a warning a few weeks ago about copyright issues, so
good old Codemasters there.
Yep. Hopefully we'll not get that in the 2018 game, of course, but that's another story. So here we are in Mexico, waiting for everyone to get ready. They're just sorting out their setups, loading up their setups from practice, of course, and also taking their time. And we'll see who comes out first. Looks like Mero's going on super softs as well.
Yes, indeed. So it can be quite a tricky setup around this track, because there are some high-speed corners and very low-speed corners as well. And the track, of course, as in real life, it can be quite dusty and quite slippery. So we've just had the weather report in for the race, and we have a dry qualifying session, but light rain at the start of the race, drying towards the end. So a spanner thrown in the works with the guys here, because they're now going to have to choose do they adapt their setup so that they can be slightly more competitive in the wet, or do they stick with this dry running setup and just hope to push it through the wet and keep it on the track?
So here is our first driver coming out of the pits of round 1 qualifying, and it is Joel coming out. Amazing to see. Of course, one of the drivers who started mid-season last time in season 4, and I think he might show potential maybe in the future.
See, Joel was very competitive in Australia last week and really showed himself to be an excellent defender. Was keeping some of the faster guys behind him for quite a while, so we can definitely expect him to be, expect that Red Bull to be at least 3 cars wide, and the guy's going to have to put a real effort in to get past him.
And other drivers are coming out, and looks like Miro has changed back to Ultra Softs as well. Might need to make the most of the qualifying session, as we're going to have light rain at the start apparently, which could be a bit of a struggle in the first corner for everyone at the start of the race, maybe.
Yeah, these guys, of course, they're gonna want to start as far up the grid as possible so that they don't get caught with. Of course, you don't want to be following that train down to turn 1 with the accordion sort of build up with all the cars braking. So this is essentially, even more than usual, a race to pole position. Now the setup here is you're almost at 60% throttle for the entire lap here, so it's quite hard on the brakes when you're going from very, very high to very, very low. So a lot of brake bias can be swapped around on this, and some of the guys will have different preferences or where they think the brake bias will be sitting, but especially from this main straight into turn 1, you don't want to lock up too much, because you will get on the dirty side of the track. They'll find...
Oh, bit of a slip there for Joel.
It's very easy around here, especially in turn 1, to invalidate your lap through track extending problems. So Joel coming through, starting the 3rd sector here into the stadium section. He'll be the first one to set a timed lap. So he runs through the left-right into the stadium section. We do have a yellow flag in sector 2. It's now
must be someone letting someone through, maybe. Oh, there's a bit of contact there on the barriers.
Joel runs slightly wide, but he does keep it going. So he sets a 120.9. So a benchmark lap there from Joel. We'll see who out there on a fast lap can beat him. We have seen some guys in some of the practice races outside of this set upwards of 116s, 117s, so we know this can be a very fast track.
We're going to look at a potential champion of the season, Chilniliad, who had a great pre-season and might have a great round 1 of this race. Anything could happen as he comes around the final corner to end his time, and let's see what he gets. Unless he's starting his time now. Oh! Brilliant lap time from Chilniliad.
So excellent from Chill there. Like what he did in Russia. At 118.3 for Nicky. So Nicky says, "Hi Chill, I see your 19 flat and I raise you by almost 7/10. So absolute lightning lap there from Nicky.
Also, here comes Craig, starting his lap now. Going to see him over this lap unless it was a fault. I think it was a fault. His lap time was invalid because his fuel is a bit low, so he might have to go back into the pits.
So we've got a yellow flag in sector 3 where Mike has gone wide going into the stadium section. He's just having to wait and let some of the guys on the faster lap. Oh, it's not the stadium. It is the stadium section. I apologise for the pause there. Yeah, just wide into the stadium section, just outbroke himself a little bit.
Oh, Miro setting up another great time, overtaking Chilniliad. You can look at Prix now, going through his flying lap around Mexico. So it'll be a great time. Hopefully it won't be invalid.
Craig just coming through the stadium section here, about to finish his lap. We'll find out what he's managed to do on those ultra soft tyres. Keeps it nice and tight going around, mantle the final corner. He decides to put it into the pit, so perhaps he invalidated the lap halfway around. We just missed it, but Craig has burned us those set of ultra softs. And we do know that Craig and Mike especially do prefer to start towards the back of the grid so that they don't get caught up in any mishaps going into the first corner. So this may be a tactical decision from Craig.
Bit of a gridlock there for Prix in sector 3, and a bit of another gridlock there too as he comes around. Oh, a bit of a slip as well as he comes around the final corner here. And let's see what time he gets. Oh, no way, he's going into the pits after this outlap. He's run out of fuel as well.
Malk too, who decides on the super softs, so he went out there and he must have invalidated his lap, so decided to go out and try a lap on the super softs to see what he could do, but has decided to bring it back in at the end.
I did see Betrayer showing up some dirt from his front left tyre, which might have been a bit of a corner cut, which must have invalidated his lap, and which is a bit of a shame. But now we're looking at Motherfisher now, about to start his lap. And, another Toro Rosso car. So he starts his lap right now.
So we still do have 5 drivers yet to set a lap, and some very quick drivers yet to set a lap. So don't think that that top 6 is going to stay how it is, because we're still in for some real close qualifying. And these guys are going to wait until they can go out latest and try and set the latest lap as possible. We're going to see fireworks at the end of this session.
29.3 in sector 1 for Motherfisher. Will he keep it up? Oh, a bit of a slip I think I just saw. But he still manages to keep control.
Yeah, slightly drifts out of that corner there. He goes into the S's, very difficult section, no matter what sort of assist level you're on. These guys especially, with the no traction, he's wiggling around there. Just got to get it stopped to go into the stadium section.
This lap could be invalid as well, because I think I saw him. I think I saw one of his wheels going inside.
It is very easy. See, does he decide to run for a second lap?
Does get a time.
Yeah.
1:19.0, putting him up to 3rd place. A great lap for Motherfisher.
9 thousandths of a second quicker than Chil Nilian, so barely anything to see between those two guys. It shows you how competitive this lobby is going to be.
We're going to look at Craig. Going to start again. Hope it goes well. And see how he does, as he has no time yet.
Malk has now gone back out on a set of ultra soft, so after not being able to set a lap on those supers, he's gone back out on the ultras, so he's gone for the quicker tyre, giving himself the best opportunity to get himself as far up the grid as possible to start this race.
Bit of smoke coming out of the tyres of Craig in sector 2, but going strong. Here comes the tricky bit.
Nicky just coming around
gone
the
a bit
final
wide
corner.
as Motherfisher lets him through.
Nicky improves by. Flashed up as improving. I'm not sure if it was invalidated or not, because it was a 1:18.1, but it hasn't flashed up on the telemetry yet.
Craig goes up to 19th. 5th place with a 1:19.1. Very good lap time. But will anyone beat Nicky?
So 3 drivers there from 3rd to 5th, all split by just, well, 1/10 of a second. So inches in it really. Depends who can get a better exit out of some of the slower corners, just giving themselves a little bit more going into the S's. Keep it nice and controlled. You can cut the last one ever so slightly and run out a little bit wide onto the rumble strips. doesn't affect the lap time all that much. Get it stopped. We see Nicky still going around into the stadium section. So with 21 seconds left in the qualifying session, does Nicky decide, is it going to be quick enough?
Oh!
As we see Betrayer with a 1:18.2, so an absolutely electric lap there from Betrayer. Nicky cannot reply. Nicky goes 1/10 slower, so still the front row of the grid, but Betrayer out of nowhere throws a 1:18.2.
Could Stifler change this? Stifler hasn't made a time yet, but Stifler could do anything about it. He was doing very well last season when he joined in Italy, and could he make a change? Wait, he's slowing down. Oh, he's on lean.
It might be a tactical from Stifler to see that it's not a huge lobby, so you're not too far from the front. So starting further back isn't too much of a disadvantage here. If it was a 17, 18 car grid like we're hopefully expecting to in the next few races. Yeah, so Stifler does return. So Mero decides he's not going to go any closer. Runs out of fuel as he crosses the line. So there are, I believe Malk is on a fast lap and Lesses decides to come in.
Good look at Mike. Oh, there goes Mike. Oh dear. Mike goes off. And I think that's everyone done, as Mike went a bit way too wide. Oh, broke a bit too late and unfortunately missed the corner.
Of course, a very fast driver, Mike. But his problem is what he's got to get hold of is just the consistency of braking. He sometimes just outbrakes himself, and he did have a scrappy race in Australia in pre-season. So it's really just making sure it's consistent. But we know that when he's on his day, he can be very, very fast.
Now we're looking at oh wait, no, Nicky. I thought Nicky was doing a lap, but seems that he's out of fuel.
I believe everyone is coasting round to the pits.
There he goes. So there we have it. I think that could be qualifying for now.
It is indeed. So that will be your final result for the Mexican Grand Prix qualifying session.
Just saw an AI just hit the back of a Mercedes.
Oh, there is. We have a Williams and a Mercedes strewn across the front of the track down the front straight. Because
hopefully we won't see anything like that though.
Especially not a wheel disappearing into the ground. So looking at the results then from this, what do you think from the session? I mean, Betrayer with a 1:18.2, but followed very closely by Nicky with 1:18.3.
I think it's going to be a very close race between top four or the top three, as they extremely did well, having a 1:18, but they into the 1:17s as well. Yeah, a lot of them has 1:18s. It's going to be either going up from the top four. As Miro and Chorniliad's not so far behind Betrayer with their times, and it's just going to be so close.
Yeah, with the top six all in the 1:18, so real competitive first qualifying session to the no assist leagues this year. Other guys will get time just to make sure their setups and their fuel load is correctly installed at the start of the grid. So we will have a brief pause whilst the guys get the chance to set this up. And as you can see, the rain is coming down.
I think this is everyone's worst enemy and the last thing they want to see in an F1 race. I'm not a huge fan of wet tracks. I'm not really good on wet tracks, so might need to practice for that after this. So
yeah, and these guys, of course, with no assists, it's even harder with no traction control. They really need to adapt their driving style to make sure that they're braking quite a bit earlier for the corners for what they really would be. So, and also with the changeable conditions that we're expecting with the dry race towards the end of the session, who's going to make that daring move first and move on to dry tyres? Are they going to go first, wait for that drying line to appear firmly, or is someone going to make an early gamble and come in for dries and hope to get just the sweet spot as the wet turns into dry?
This could be very, very tricky for the drivers.
Of course, we've got some guys and some drivers in this league that aren't here tonight for various reasons, who will be intently watching what's going to happen, such as Speed Queen and Sargent, who will be watching this and thinking, well, where's my competition coming? Where's the challenger for my title going to be? Because these guys have a real opportunity of getting those points on the board and getting a step ahead out of the guys that can't be here today. So it's going to be a really competitive and testy race today.
I think Mother Fisher forgotten about the rule, the golden rule, to wait until the admin says, whoever the admin, I think it's Nikki who's the admin here. I think this could be a penalty, because this is no more of a practice now. So, it is going to be formation lap. So as it's happening, I'm going to go through all of the drivers, the top 11 drivers after qualifying. So in pole position, taking first place, Petraea in the Ferrari, an excellent drive from him. Second place is Nicky. Having difficulties there in the first turn 1 there in the Haas. Hopefully it doesn't damage it too much, because I might need it on Wednesday. Chilniliad, third place in Toro Rosso. Very, very well done from him, and this could be a very interesting race for him. Fourth place is Miro in the Williams. Done very well, and could hope for a podium, as a big fight is happening between all 4 drivers. Mike as well, 5th place after having a very great time. Could have made another great time, but unfortunately missed out in the start of sector 3 as he went very, very wide and missed the turning. Malk, 6th place, of course, in Force India, and one of the returning drivers from last season. Mother Fisher kind of doing a corner cut there. 7th place in the Toro Rosso, and it was also a returning driver. Craig, a returning driver in Red Bull, and he is 8th. Joel, one of the new drivers, and is in the Red Bull and is in 9th. Squatter City is 10th place and is in the Mercedes, and last and certainly not least, Stifler in the Renault.
So the guys here, they've had a nice cycle lap out, so they've seen where the grip is, so they realise where they can and can't brake for the first couple of corners. So at full speed, how are we going to go? We've seen some of the guys here have gone for a very heavy fuel load, hoping to go quite well. So Malk is almost +6 of a lap over, so he can run rich a lot. So this is going to be exciting.
Here we go, 5 red lights for the first round, and lights out, and away we go, and it looks like everyone's off to a great start, which is great to see. Lots of overtakes happening right now. Chuniliad going up, and looks like a big fight going up there. Matt going up to 5th place, Stifler going up 2 places, and Joel going up 1. Nicky already going up to 1st place, but let's see what happens in this first corner here, and looks like Nicky does it clean that time, so despite what happened in the formation lap, and it says yellow flag, and it looks like Petraea has something happened. There's lots of drivers on the grass. There's Craig and Stifler as well.
Craig, Petraea and Squat City all having to take evasive action there. So Craig and Squat City both taking across the grass. Petraea seemed to outbrake himself going into the first corner. So real shame for Petraea there, who was right up there at the front, but outbroke himself going into the first corner and ran wide, letting everyone else the opportunity to go past. Guys tentatively making their way round.
Seems like there's been a lot of position changes then. Mama Fisher, wow, going up from a lightning start up to 3rd place, up 4 positions. Stifler also after a good lightning start, going up 3 positions. Joel as well 3 positions, and Miro D2 going up 2 positions as in 2nd place, and Nikki after an incident that happened from Betrayer gone up 1 place and had a great race at the moment.
A Betrayer running wide there again, so that front wing damage in this weather is not going to help, and surely Betrayer is going to have to bring it into the pits, or he's going to stay out. He is going to stay out, so he has lost the front end plate on on the Ferrari, and it's really not going to help going into the corners, because he's going to lose a lot of downforce when it comes to braking. So a bit of a gamble for Betrayer to stay out there.
Stifler, as you can see in the camera then, Stifler just made a move on Malk, brilliant move just before the first corner. Broke a bit too early, that couldn't make Malk give him a chance, but unfortunately Stifler takes the win as he goes ahead on Malk.
Malk, of course, with the heavy fuel load, has got the opportunity to run rich, so he will be able to follow him very carefully. If he's able to stay just behind him, he has got the opportunity to run down, especially down the main straight. But guys, really tiptoeing around that corner, really putting.
Joel just manages to overtake John Iliad, but it looks like everyone's got away scot-free, which is great.
0.2 of a second per sector at the moment, so no one has got anything to do to keep up with him at the moment. So really in a league of his own out in here. And are we going to see someone that's going to dominate in wet conditions this season?
Sorry about that earlier, everyone. Just had a bit of an internet glitch at my area, but we are back and everyone's coming back online. We're on air again, which is great. And for some reason I didn't disconnect, which is kind of weird, but we're back online.
Well, you don't worry guys, because nothing major happened there. Everything we saw there was Craig running slightly wide, so still the race is being dominated by Nicky. We have Mero D2 in 2nd place, just under 8 seconds behind, being followed very closely by Mama Fisher, who's 0.7 of a second behind him, so keeping Mero D2 very honest. Joel, V520 in 4th, with Stifler in 5th, Chill Nyland in 6th, with Malk in 7th, Mike in 8th, with Betrayer in 9th, Craig 10th, and Spot City in 11th place.
Very close indeed, right in the centre. Chill Iliad could make a move on Stifler soon, but I did see earlier Stifler overtaking Chill Iliad right on the first corner once again. He did just like the same he just did with Malk a few laps ago. But this could be very close between those two drivers.
And what I am just looking at is that I'm not sure if this is coming up as a graphical glitch, but Joel seems to be running a very low fuel load, where he's only 0.1 of a second above positive at the moment. He's dropping down to minus, so whether that's a graphical glitch or not, if not, he's going to be doing some, as he runs wide going into the stadium section. Does he keep out the wall? He does, but he's going to lose the positions to, just lose it to Stifler. So Stifler moving up into 4th place. So Stifler, who started at the back of the grid, has made it up to 4th in 5 laps. Joel is going to come under attack from Chilnerland down the main straight. Joel, who might potentially be running in some fuel conservation throughout this race, if that is true, and he is running a very light fuel load, does mean Chill's going to be able to run rich down this straight. Can't seem to catch up with him down here, but definitely not what Joel wants to see, is that Toro Rosso steaming up behind him.
It's very close indeed. Malk not so far behind as well. Could make a chance to Chill Malk at any time soon. It just all depends what happens, because anything could happen in this race as we're down to 20... no, my mistake. We're actually down to 32 laps remaining. despite being a lap 5. As it is one of those tracks which are very quick, so of course there are 36 laps here as we are on 50%. And Iliad trying to break through what happened as he's gone down 3 places this race from qualifying. And Stifler, though, on the other hand, went up to 7 places, which is a great race for him so far.
Mero D2 fallen back from Mama Fisher, so was 0.5 of a second behind, but in this lap it's been very scrappy. He's run wide twice. That's got Stifler right into play, and he can see the back of that Williams. Problem, Mero's really dropped back, so lost 2.5 seconds on that lap to Mama Fisher, and now Stifler within a second. So luckily for Mero, there isn't going to be any DRS whilst the wet tyres are on. These guys will be really praying for the rain to stop and for the dry tyres to come out, because some of them really seem to be driving very tentatively, very carefully around on that track. The only one out there that seems to be enjoying it at all is Nicky, who's 13 seconds in the lead at the moment. Now, is this going to be a benefit for Nicky? Because the thing is that if he's got the pace in the wet, but he doesn't have the pace in the dry, he doesn't need to worry, because he's going to have a huge amount of time to have that pit stop, and he's going to find himself coming out, not even at last, he'll find himself coming out probably around 6th or 7th place with the stop, so he's not going to have to worry too much.
Stifler could make a move on Miro, 0.7 seconds away, and Miro is actually kind of struggling here in the end of sector 2. Stifler could take a chance to overtake, because Miro does have a bit of a low Wi-Fi connection, as you can see as the indicator's up, as of course one YouTuber would say is an alien indicator, but that's not what we call it here, of course, as this is competitive racing.
So Stifler really up behind in the gearbox there, Renault does want to get too close. Oh, very close to knocking off the front end plate there. The Renault looking really racy up against the Williams. He's going to be right in the toe of that Williams going down the main straight. A nice kilometre long turn for him to get in DRS, get in the DRS, get in the slipstream. Is he going to pull out? Is he going to make that move? How brave is Stifler? He decides to back out of it.
I think I saw Mama Fisher go wide as well.
Yeah, Mero just ran wide as well. So with Mero running wide and Stifler braking very early for that turn, kind of slight. I think Stifler was slightly worried that the amount of slipstream he was getting was going to kind of increase his speed so much that it would kind of off-put where his usual braking point would be for the corner.
Seems like we've got
Chilnilian right to play.
Seems.
Well, he makes the move up the inside.
Oh, brilliant! Especially in, behind Chilnilian. I've got a great view from that almost overtook there. As we look in Chilnilian's point of view, I saw an almost chance for Stifler, but Miro denies it as he is defending himself for 3rd place. He doesn't want to let go of that podium.
Mero had the inside line for the S's, so he had the advantage, but definitely a brave move there for Stifler as he goes for the lunge again. He's going to outbrake himself. That's going to let Chill through. Does he manage? Stifler's going to have right, but he lets Chill through.
I've got to say this, but I think there's a train going on from Miro to Malk, I think.
Oh, so Mero runs wide coming out of Mats for the last corner. Has slightly brushed up against the wall, that lets Chilnilian through. Stifler is going to make his way past as well. Oh, they're going to go too wide down the main straight, but Stifler's also in the toe of Chilnilian, so is there potential that he can go down the inside of Chill? It's 3 wide going into turn 1.
Oh, this could happen. Anything can happen. There's going to be no contact. No contact. A great thing to see.
Mero.
Oh, there's some contact.
Still battling. Stifler makes it past. What a move from Stifler.
Amazing,
so really
amazing performance there from Chilnilian and Stifler. Chilnilian just saving it and just gets past all the...
Oh, Mero makes a diving move up against Stifler. It doesn't work. He just broke just a fraction too late. Tapped the rear end of Stifler. He's turned himself around. So absolute nightmare there for Mero.
Oh dear me. Like I said earlier, John Elliott just breaking through that which could have been a mess between Stifler and Miro, but as you just saw now, Miro just spinning off the track like a one of those spinny rides, and unfortunately gone down to 8th place, but there could be hope for him soon. Maybe he might be able to overtake all the other drivers all over again.
So just looking here, the closest battle I can see is Joel, Malcolm, Betrayer, all within a second of each other. So nice 3-car train starting to form here behind Joel, who's going to see a Force India and a Ferrari chasing him down. Betrayer gets a little bit of a slide coming out of the stadium section. He's going to tuck up behind the back of Malk. So Malk's gone from attacking the back of Joel to having to defend from Betrayer. Betrayer looks very racy going down this turn 1.
Could be going through the inside in the turn 1, but looks like Malk just got a bit faster than him in this first corner, and Betrayer also braking a bit earlier and went a bit slow in the first corner, but Malk was slipping around in that little chicane, but Betrayer still has a chance, still trying to get that slipstream as well.
As we can see, Mero has decided he thinks it's time for the dries, so he's put on ultra softs, which is a bit of a gamble. It's still very wet out there. It's going to be very slippery. Mero must have seen that he'd fallen quite far back after that spin, so it was worth a gamble. But it does look like it may be a lap or two early to put on those dry tyres. He's going to run around on the ultra softs. Going to be a very short stint on the ultras. We know that they don't last very long. Around this makes Patrick really struggling to put the power down.
Oh, that's Joel going wide. Betrayer could make a move. Oh, brilliant move. Oh, wait, Joel's fighting back. Joel's fighting back. Not great angle there. And Joel fights back. Manages to claim 5th place still.
That's going to bring Malk into play. And Joel gets a bad run out of the last corner. So as Malk decides to come in for a pit stop, so has Malk decided, I'm sick of following you two, I'm going to go in and put some dries on? Does Malk decide? He's gone for the soft tyres, so a different strategy to Mero, who put the ultra softs on. So is Malk going to try and run to the end on these soft tyres?
As I am seeing in the pit window, it is almost that time, as everyone's pit window is about to open soon. Lap 13 apparently is the pit windows for, I think, everyone, and this could be everyone's chance to switch to ultra softs or super softs or soft tyres. Squad City,
yellow in sector 2. Yeah, it is Squad City.
Squad City, unfortunately making another spin.
Have to watch out for Stifler coming around this corner. He doesn't want to interrupt the flow of traffic. He does run to the outside, so nice and courteous there for Squad City. Bit of a baptism of fire for Squad City, who's entered entered the No Assist League this year for the first time and slightly struggling to impose himself and set some fast times. It's definitely going to be a learning curve for him this season.
Johnny Elliott not so far on his teammate, right behind. Oh, he did a bit of a slip there as well, as I saw, as his wheel instantly reacted, a bit of a slip. But Johnny Elliott not so far behind Mother Fisher, could take a move in the first corner, going very, very close now. Could Johnny Elliott make a move, and broke a bit too early, and Mother Fisher just breaks in the perfect time. And it looks like Johnny Elliott's going to play it safe, but coming into the chicane, very, very close into the back of Mother Fisher. And Mother Fisher also slipping around as well, which could give Johnny Elliott a chance to overtake maybe soon or later. And also, there's more people going into the pits and changing to dry tyres, which is great to see.
Just to interrupt you there was a very interesting choice there. So Betrayer and Joel came in line astern, so in the pit boxes directly in front of each other. But Betrayer, who decided to go onto the softs, but Joel decided to put another set of inters on. So Joel was going to try and make use of the fact that it still seems to be slightly within the window of the inters, because the guys out there on the soft tyres are still sliding around. I was watching Malk on that last lap, and he was really struggling to put the power down. So how is Betray going to fare on these soft tyres with Joel, who's going to have much more grip going into the braking points? Joel himself does run slightly wide, so it's when is the crossover going to come? Because the track is still looking quite slick out there.
Of course there are. Well, wrong thing. Stops. There we go. Stops. So it looks like everyone apart from Mike Stifler, Mama Fisher, Choniliad and Nicky had a stop and decided to go on dry tyres, except from Squad City and Joel. But their might could change soon. I never know.
So Nicky still out front by just a huge 28.3 seconds at the moment. Still running around on the inters that he started on, which means he's going to get an absolutely free pit stop. It's going to cost him nothing, so he can choose when he wants to come in. It doesn't seem to matter how long he stays out there, because he's setting considerably faster times than everyone else at the moment on considerably older tyres. So it's an unbelievable race from Nicky so far. I believe he's already lapped Craig and Squat City, so Craig, who's decided to pit onto the soft or super soft tyres, is going to be trying to chase down Mero, who's on the ultra softs. As you can see, it's still very slick out there, as it looks like Nicky does decide to come into the pit. So 13 laps on those 13 laps on those intermediate tyres. He pits onto the super softs.
Looks like everyone's almost had a stop. Mike hasn't had a stop. Waiting for 4 more drivers to maybe go on dry tyres, but it's like
Chill Niliant, who's still out there on the intermediate tyres, just carries on. So Chill's moving up into second place, so great job there from Chill.
Mother Fisher in the pits, going to super soft tyres. Just saw a bit of a glitch in the pit lane there. Thought he was going to put on ultra softs there, but it looks like he ended up with super softs, which is great to see. That he moved onto dry tyres, which will give him a chance to catch up with Choniliad after that pit lane. I think in sector 3 has happened. It's Mike.
Mike, it is. He's gone wide again at the same place. He's got a front left puncture. So right, it could have been worse. It could have been much earlier in the lap. So the only benefit to Mike is it is very late on the lap. So, but of course, a bit of a nightmare tonight.
It's
so he's
very lucky
down.
that everyone's turning into dry tyres, and looks like it's Mike's chance to turn dry as well.
So that shows how high these guys were running on tyre wear towards the end of this stint, is that he even got a puncture. So, well, puncture limit seems to be anywhere from 70 to 80% tyre wear. So the guys really getting as much out of these tyres as they can. They weren't sure if it was the crossover point to dries. It does start to look like it's drying up now. There's not as much spray coming off the back of the car. So Mike, he loses it, putting the power down, coming out of the pits, and he's lost the front right-hand end plate of his car. So the guys are still finding, as soon as they come out they take the pit limiter off and light up the rear tyres. A lot of them, you'll see, they've been snaking coming out of that pit lane. Unfortunately for Mike, just lit up his tyres just ever so slightly too much. Just nicked the wall, and he's lost the front right end plate, which is really going to hamper him for this second stint.
Seems like there's not going to be much battles. I think, yep, Squad City is gone into the barriers again, but hasn't crashed, which is great. Hopefully he'll be, yep, he's continuing to race. Just taking it slow, letting everyone pass.
So we have yellow in sector 1 and sector 2. It's Chill Niliant, who has gone off at turn 1, ran wide. No. So he drops down. Stifler pulls ahead of him. So yeah, nightmare there for Chill, who's running really nicely in second place. But Stifler started at the back of the grid, started in last place, in 11th place, is now into the podium positions.
Looks like Stifler's doing a very great job today. Gone up 8 positions in this race. Also, Mother Fisher having a great race as well, going up 5. Could this be the top 3 for today's race? We do have 12 laps to go.
See, I'm just looking at Joel there. Joel, who decided to go back onto the intermediate tyres.
I meant 22 laps to go, my mistake. Just realised. Keep getting my numbers wrong.
So, yeah, Joel running around on intermediate tyres, and he's really struggling for grip here. So this is the crossover point onto the dry tyres. Those intermediates, they need to be at a certain temperature to work. And there's not enough water that's displaced to make those inters work correctly.
Prix catching up, especially after that little mess up that happened right at the start of the race. Not so far punching around it. Oh, and Chilena's gone wide again, and there goes Prix.
Chill really struggling with that first corner on these dry tyres on the drying track. So the track still isn't fully dry, so the guys can't drive around like it is. They can't. They're just extending their braking point going into turn 1 a little too much, and you're seeing a lot of people running wide going into turn 1. Craig sets a 129.3, so good brake lap there from Craig. As you can see, the lap times are starting to fall. Nicky with a 127.7, so all 2 seconds faster than Craig's fastest lap. So
a lot of penalties happening from race control as well. Prix with the latest penalty with track extending and leaving the track.
Chilena's just running wide at the S's too, so wouldn't surprise to see him flash up with one soon. Nicky leading the grid by 37 seconds, so if we thought he was just quick in the wet, no, he is also quick in the dry. Mammoth Fisher does set the new fastest lap of 127.2, but the problem is that we're getting a drying track and these guys are driving around on dry tyres now, so expect that to fall considerably over the rest of the race.
Looks like 2 cars are already lapped by Nicky, which is Squad City and Mike. I think Craig could be Nicky's next target, of course. But it's amazing to see how Nicky's doing so far. It's like it goes up to 1 minute to Malk. Apparently 1 minute 9 seconds behind Malk is to Nicky. It's amazing.
So I was just looking at a Malk battle there. He'd caught right up to the back of Joel, who was struggling on those intermediate tyres, and there was almost catastrophe for Malk there as he had the inside line going around the final corner onto the main straight, but obviously it's because Joel was really struggling for tyre wear, but he was planning on coming into the pit, so cut across. Luckily Malk saw him cut across, so slammed hard down on the brakes and just missed the back end of Joel as he went into the pits to put on the super soft tyres, but it's a disaster averted there from Malk.
I don't know if there's been some confirmations that DRS is enabled. I highly doubt it though. Oh wait, no, DRS is active.
Yes, as soon as the dry tyres are on, I believe the DRS was activated. The times have to go it's under 130, under 131s, something like that, for the DRS to be activated.
Down to 20 laps now, not so far. This could be the another long stream that I might be doing today, so Craig's not far behind Miro, I think I just saw. Yeah, he's not far behind Miro.
No, so
could make a move. Has DRS enabled as well.
He's gonna pulls out going into turn 1. Does he get it stopped? Or locks up the front? Does Miro fight him?
Goes through the outside. Brilliantly
nice
done.
Move there by Craig. So Miro decided not to
done there by Craig.
Now the problem is for Miro is he was the first one to pit and put those ultra softs on. So has he already taken too much life out of those ultra soft tyres just as it starts to get to real dry conditions? So he's going to have to stop again and put on most likely the super softs to get into the end of this race.
trying to get his revenge and catching up on Stifler. DRS active, especially for Chilniliad. So there is a fight for third going on here between three cars. Stifler defending his podium with Betrayer and Chilniliad catching up on his back. This could be very, very close indeed, just like what happened between Stifler, Chilniliad, and also Miro earlier before Miro span off the track. But it's very, very close.
These guys participate in the forums throughout the week where they get asked questions about the upcoming race, and one of Stifler's main aims for this season was to improve his consistency and to be, in his own words, be a little braver when it comes to fighting. He feels that he can give a little bit more when it comes to battling, whether it be attacking and defending. So this is really the chance for him to show what he's going to do for the rest of the season, because we know he's a very consistent driver that tends to bounce around the sort of upper mid to top 3 area. So we know he's fast, but is he able to keep drivers behind him? Is he able to put his car in places to stop people getting past?
I think this, more DRS enabled for both drivers.
It looks like the Betrayer is going to be the one that comes under threat more than Stifler on this Turner. So Shield much closer to the back of Betrayer and is onto the faster tyre. It's going to get DRS again coming down.
Did he hit in the back there?
Oh, Shield just outbraking himself there.
It's Joel. Joel is spinning around on the track, made a big incident in sector 2 and dash 3, but is back on the track now. He's gone down to 10th place.
Does have no front wing at all, so heavy contact with the wall for Joel. Looks like not what he wants to do at all, so he's going to have to bring it in this lap. I imagine put another set of super softs on. Ultras will struggle to get to the end of the race. Having done some practice around Mexico, I managed to get 13 laps out of ultra softs before getting a puncture. So Ultras, or as he's putting on, so he's going to have to take Ultras 16 laps, 15 if he's been 15 seeing as he's been lapped. So it's a tall ask for Joel to do. He's going to have to look after those tyres a lot over this stint.
Seems that Nicky has lapped 4 drivers now, but lapped twice Squad City, of course, which is very big and very impressive for Nicky. I don't know if Motherfisher also lapped any of those 4 drivers as well, but I'll see what happened. But anything can happen in this race.
Yeah, so Squat City just having a little bit of a nightmare debut race in the Assist League. It's had a couple of offs, especially into the S's, which are very tricky sections. So it's all about learning, all about progressing. So expect to see him improve as the season goes on, as he gets used to driving up against the guys of some of the guys with higher standard. Of course, if you race with faster guys, it makes you faster because you become accustomed to where their braking points are. So Mero does make a pit stop, comes off those ultra softs that he was struggling on, and he's put on a set of super softs. So did go onto those ultras very early during the wet section of the wet part of the race. Maybe 2 or 3 laps too early compared to everyone else, but the gamble didn't quite pay off for Mero there. To see
a big fight happening between Stifler and Chilniliad.
Yeah.
Still very close, but it looks like Chilniliad is kind of losing Betrayer a bit, but still fighting back in sector 2. As you can see in the helicopter view here, Betrayer actually kind of losing Stifler. Must be those tyres he's on.
Yeah, so stiffer on the ultra softs compared to Betrayer on the soft. So this is Stifler's opportunity. He needs to kind of stretch his legs out here, because Betrayer's times and tyres are going to start to become more of an advantage in the next few laps once Stiflers start to go off. You'll find if he's deciding to try and last till the end of this race on that set of ultras, that by the end he's going to be essentially given a pair of ice skates driving around this track. Nice exit for Stifler, so Betrayer does get DRS, but it doesn't look like he's going to be close enough unless he went to a real deep plunge into turn 1. He does have a look at it, and Stifler does lock up the front brake a little bit. Keeps the position.
More DRS for everyone. John Elliott kind of losing it in the DRS zone. Getting closer.
So Joel, after that pit stop and putting on the ultra soft tyres, has just set a fastest lap of a 1:21.5. So fresh tyres on the dry track has meant that he currently holds the fastest lap award.
Very well done to Joel. Could be fighting back, as despite being 24 seconds behind Miro, but it could be a chance. There is a lot more time left than he expected. I think there's about 17 laps left, I think, as there is.
As Miro does a 1:21.3, so in response to Joel's quick lap, Miro on super soft tyres sets an even faster time. This battle for fourth place, or for third place I should say, between Stifler, Betrayer and Chilnillian still going on. Betrayer got very close up to the back of Stifler going into the stadium section.
Joel doesn't like the fast lap change from Miro, so he decides to get a 1:20.
So the guys in 9th and 10th trading fastest laps at the moment, so showing that just because they're further down the grid doesn't mean they're any slower than anyone else. Betrayer really close up to the back of Stifler going in to the S section. It's probably the closest it's been in the last few laps. We did see Stifler struggling into the stadium section on the last lap, and Betrayer just had a slight peek at him going into the right-hander, and once again he's tucked right up behind the gearbox and takes the outside line. Is he going to try and... He does, but that brings Chill into play.
Once again.
Stifler locking up. Chilnillian can follow, just essentially follow these two, try and look after his tyres, and hope that these two attack each other. Well, the more these two attack each other, the more it will keep him in play. And hopefully, they might trip up over themselves, and Chill can benefit, jump from 5th to 3rd. Now, of course, guys, if you're watching the stream for the first time and you're not part of the IRL, please feel free to check out our website, and we have a forum for signing up, so leave your details in and the admins will contact you and we'll get you through a practice race to see where you're at, what stand you've been, because we have no assist leagues on a Monday with a performance league on a Tuesday, and F1, 2 and F3 on a Wednesday night, so plenty of racing to be watched and plenty of racing to be had. So we do welcome new members all times of the season.
Of course, you have to be on the PS4 as well to do this as well. It's a PS4 only league.
Oh, it's Betrayer, sorry, just to interrupt you there, Betrayer, perfect run out there, he's going to go around the outside. Oh, he's going to have the inside going into the stadium section, but Stifler just keeps it, so Betrayer
still clings on behind.
A little cautious, so probably could have got the move done, but Stifler, he does bail into the pits, and so does Chill, Chill, does he run into the back of him? Does Chill run into the back? He hasn't lost any front wing.
They're both seem fine. There's no front wing damage.
Must have been by absolute millimetres that he doesn't have front wing damage there, because real lock up there, but Shield jumps Stifler in the pit lane. Stifler looks like he had to change his front wing. So Stifler is going to find himself having dropped from the podium positions now down into 5th place, because Betrayer is potentially going to go to the end on no soft tyres.
And also Nicky's going into the pits as well. He must have enough time to go in and go out. And I think Mama Fisher might go in and out as well.
Yeah, I think the guys here, they took the dry tyres, you do find they do wear out with the temperatures you get around here, with the way that the air flows. It does put a lot of tyre degradation on there. And I mean, Nicky's got, he could make another stop and still be unchallenged from the guys behind him. So I think we can expect to see some absolute lightning times coming out of him now with the brand new older softs on.
Nicky has overlapped Craig as well, up to 11 to 6 place. Nicky has overtook them all. A crazy race for him, and it must be extraordinary.
We still have 10 laps to go, so don't expect that to be the last person that he laps this race.
Might reach Stifler. Very close, very far away. He could just maybe just cross the line going backwards, maybe, I don't know.
Well, he could probably walk the last lap and he'd still win the race at the moment. He's been absolutely unreal today. So Nicky, well, we knew he was quick from last season, and without Speed Queen here or Sargent and some of the other quicker drivers, he gave it the best. Nicky, this is the benchmark for the guys for the rest of the season. He's absolutely dominated today.
Looking at Malk, 9th place. Looks like he's going to try and make a move on Mike, but it depends if Mike or Malk's going to go into the pits, but it looks like they're both not, so it could be a chance for Malk. And it looks like Mike's trying to defend his position in 8th place. Malk could make a move. Could he make a move here before the first corner? And looks like he's going to go around the outside! Whoa!
So the problem there is that they both of them spending too much time on looking at each other defending, as they didn't realise that Scott City was coming out of the pit lane. He couldn't move anywhere. There was nowhere for him to go. He was already on the inside of the track. Mike just missed him, so almost, well, could have been catastrophic there. Malk having to run off onto the grass on the left-hand side of the track, and Mike having to switch sides from the right side to the left side very quickly. So it could have been absolutely.
I was looking in the point of view of Malk, and I thought Mike hit the back of him. I was like, gee whiz, that's going to be the end of him, isn't it? And then
I could see Scott City coming out the pits, and I could see Malk and Mike coming down that right-hand side of the track, and I was waiting for one of them to pull out, but obviously both of them were looking at each other's mirrors and trying to work, both attacking each other, so didn't see Scott City till the last second. So crisis averted, but could have been a real nasty accident.
Oh, another helicopter view of Mike there, tackling his position, and it looks like he's going to do for the same manoeuvre. Hopefully he doesn't get a car this time, maybe. And,
you know, that Force India is very quick in a straight line. DRS open. Valk looks like he's going to go around the outside of Mike into the first corner. Does Mike battle it? Locks up. Malk decides not to run around the outside.
Brilliant defending there.
Yeah, absolutely nicely done from Mike there. Malk's going to get another chance to open the DRS. He's tucked in right in the gearbox for Ferrari. Does he make a lunge? No, he doesn't. Another. He's going to have to try and get this done. But after two laps of doing the same manoeuvre down the front straight, is Mike going to make the same move? Is he going to go defensive early and pull to the right-hand side, or is he going to switch back and stay on the left? And
penalty as well. Jeff might be telling Mike that doesn't matter if he got a time penalty, because just something just came up from Malk. Could be the tyres that could be affecting his race at the moment, because he is going kind of extending the track limits in the end of that second sector sometimes.
So the top three are all pretty pretty clear of each other at the moment, so Nicky has got what feels like an eternity of a gap between himself and Betrayer, who will be looking to go to the end on those soft tyres. Just under a 32-second lead, with Alan Fisher just under 14 seconds behind him. He is on faster tyres coming towards the end of this race, but it's going to be very tricky for Alan Fisher to get anywhere near Betrayer. 13 seconds on older ultra softs.
Matt got a better exit there, going through the outside. Could it happen? Going through the inside here. Still practicing. Oh, Mike went a bit wide, but still takes it.
They're still going.
Nearly touching each other. So close, but Mike still defends 8th place.
Racing from these two. So superb racing, real clean, real close. Malk knowing not to push too hard because he doesn't want to turn either one of them around. Doesn't want to lose any of his front wing. Of course, downforce really important around here, so he's going to have to get it done. You have to believe he's going to have to get it done down the straight, down the DRS, because Mike seems to have a 4-car wide Ferrari into these tighter corners. Just knows where to put it. Mount does seem to get a nicer exit coming out of Mansell, the final corner. He's going to tuck up behind Mike, who does take that inside line to the right-hand side of the track, but the Force India tucked up behind him nicely. He's going to get a nicer run.
Will he get it this time?
He has. He's got it done, but doesn't get it stopped. He does get it stopped. So lovely move there from Mount. So practice makes perfect. He looked at it for the previous 3 laps. Finally on lap 30 he's got the job done,
and looks like Mike is officially long gone, as he's just now a second behind. Brilliant overtook by Malk there, and an excellent clean battle for 8th as well, as I should say.
The closest battle on track at the moment, apart from Malk and Mike, which seems like might be coming to a conclusion with Malk having taken the position off of Mike, is Stifler and Chilnillian.
And there goes Mike again. He had the problem with that corner in qualifying. As he went through his final lap, he did a lot of big gridlock, and unfortunately didn't make that corner right, and just did it again just then, and is going into the pits. Maybe changing into ultra softs, maybe.
So Stifler on those. So yeah, Stifler on those ultra softs, on the quicker tyre than Chill, who's on the supers, but of course both fresh tyres for both of them. But Stifler, who will be ruining the fact that he had to change his wing in the pit stops, dropped him behind Chill near the end. He's going to have 5 laps on these slightly faster tyres to get that position back into 4th.
Also, Stifler does have an upper hand, has the fastest lap so far with a 119.7, an extremely great lap as well. I think that's around Mike's or Squad City's or Joel's qualifying lap around that time, but that's extremely well done for him.
So I believe with that lap in the race, Stifler would have got, I think, 9th place in qualifying. So a real quick lap for Stifler on those ultra softs. Stifler, the next person to be lapped by Nicky. I believe on these tyres he may be able to keep himself ahead, but it seems Nicky can do no wrong today.
Stifler also having an amazing race. According to position changes so far, Stifler is ahead of everyone else, going up 6 places, followed by Moen Fisher in 4, and then Craig with 2, and Nicky going up 1 place and still up there with 1 place and doesn't want to give it back.
Stifler did get DRS down that straight, though. Has got himself within that 1 second window. He's going to get DRS again going into the next corner. how close can he get up behind him to go into SA del Lago and Horquilla?
Nicky's down to 4 laps to go. Very quickly, and can't believe it's already been nearly 36 laps. I mean, I thought we'd be on about 27 by now.
So Stifler 53 seconds behind Nicky, so it looks like he's going to be safe. It does look though that it's only a matter of time before Stifler makes the move on Chilnilian, who has got the faster tyre on. Can he make it last until the end of this race? Oh, that was close behind him. Stifler getting very close up to the back of Chilnilian. It's going to be touched right up to the back of the Toro Rosso. Chill moving to the right hand side of the track. He's going to make the Renault go around the outside, but Stifler he's got a great run, pulls out very late, swings out to the left hand side of the track. Does he get the move done? Is Chill going to battle going into the corner? He doesn't. He's let him go, so nothing he could do about that. That Renault had.
And he's going to DRS off away from Chilnilian as well, as he kind of got some advantage from Squad City, who had to be lapped then. And that's
Scott City there just went wide going into the corner, into SA del Lago, and lost it coming out of the corner as he was trying to get out of the way of it. So another, and he's lost it again, power on too much. So Scott City pirouetting round at the back at the moment, not having a great race at all. He's got to get it back on track, and those tyres are going to be dirty and going to be absolutely screaming with temperature. So be very careful, very tentative, as he's almost spun it again. So these guys, yeah, so he's really struggling there out there. You've got to remember, as soon as you spin, you put so much heat into those tyres, you just lose all grip, as he's got nothing. He's going to have to run wide to let the Ferrari
He might
through.
have to retire as well, because his fuel is literally minus 1 lap.
laps down, so he will be crawling around for the next. He's running in lean, but 1.6, I can't see him. Well, he is 2 laps down, so he's not going to make it to the end at the moment. As Joel comes into the pits again, puts on another set of ultra soft tyres.
There goes Mike going up as well.
Joel's still going to pick up points from this first race, so points still on the board. It's not the end. Obviously it's not been a race that Joel will look back on fondly, but there is still a point on the board.
There is still a chance for Chilnilian overtaking Stifler. After that overtake that Stifler did, he still has the chance to fight back. He does have a few laps to go. They're now going up down to 2 laps to go, and lap 35 out of 36. As they will start their lap, Nick's going to finish this lap and go on his final lap, which is kind of shocking. As time flies when you have such fun here in Formula 1. Looks like Nick is about to start his final lap. Just about now. He's coming around the final corner. And here he goes.
So Stifler on the ultra soft tyres, he made the move past Chilnilian, but he couldn't stretch out enough of a lead, and now Chill's super soft tyres are going to have more life in them, so we're going to see an almighty battle for these two over the next lap and a half. Chill's going to be all over the back of the Renault.
Nearly tapped the back of the Renault there, but luckily he still has his front wing and still pushing on.
Stifler getting a slightly better run through the S section. Chill a little bit further behind. Of course, we are yet to see what the penalties will be like at the end of the race, so we will have a look at the penalty board after the race to see if everyone's penalties have been properly applied. So we see Mama Fisher picking up a 3-second time penalty, most likely for track extending. Now, this is probably going to be Chilnilian's best opportunity for overtaking going into this last lap. Stifler is going to be in. Stifler's in the toe of Mount, and he's going to use Mount for a little bit more speed going down. So brilliant thinking there from Stifler, just to give himself a bit of slipstream that's going to help him down the straight. That's help him defending. So great tactical thinking there from Stifler.
And of course, there is Nicky finishing off there in Mexico and finishing first place. A brilliant win for Nicky. Maybe stayed up there for the whole race. Could have slowed down for a bit for Prix and maybe other drivers, but kind of rejected that offer. We're now going to look at Prix now. Prix is about to finish. We'll go back to Chilniliad right after Prix finishing this lap, as he's about to come around the final corners. Confetti flying all over the place now in the stands over there in Sector 3. There he goes across the line, going into second place. Mama Fisher finishing third place, which completes the podium.
Chilniliad, oh, he's very close
looks
to
like,
making the move.
Looks like Chilniliad's not going to get fourth place. And now he's going to wait for Malcolm now, who's about to come over the line. There we go. So, there we have it, the first round complete.
Chilniliad there was just about to stick it up the inside going into the final corner, but just got a little bit of a wiggle on in the rear end and just lost a little bit of traction. So he had that opportunity to make the move going into the inside in the last corner, but just couldn't get it stuck.
There are the top three drivers, which is Nicky, Bedrea and Mama Fisher. I think this is Mama Fisher's first podium as well, and for Bedrea's first podium as well in the first round. And of course, Champagne, no one ever forgets that. So I would say who's your driver of the day, but I don't think we're going to have to argue between who we think it's going to be today. I'm going to say Stifler.
Really?
Yeah, Stifler had, despite Stifler starting right at the bottom with no time, he just climbed up. Like, I mean, look at him. He went 11th place to 4th place. It's a brilliant race for him. So we just look at the race director, just look at the incidents and the penalties, just to make sure that everyone's have been applied. Quite a few today, so just scrolling through them there, just to make sure they've all been applied. As you can see, quite a few in, but absolute classic race day. Some brilliant overtaking and some excellent racemanship between everyone. Well, as we go back to the loading screen and back to the lobby, I think this is where we're going to conclude today's race of the first round. See you all next time, of course. As we, where are we heading next week, Stiff? That's a good question. That is a good question. I haven't looked at my calendar. Well then, we'll see you next week. Wherever we are, we don't know where we'll be. Somewhere in the world. Somewhere in the world, of course. We're not going to be on the moon. So yeah, we'll see you next week for round 2. Brilliant race win for Nicky, and also brilliant podium wins for Mama Fisher and Betrayer. And we'll see you all next week for round 2.